Right, peeps, I'm back, literally, because I've just got back from a golf course. I went there this morning at dawn. 5:30 I started playing. Me and my mate who plays FPL as well, we started at 5:30. You hardly see the ball, it wasn't even properly light. And the idea was that I played golf while City are playing, so I don't have to put up with watching Haaland score lots of goals, because you know what it's like. If you don't own Haaland, you know what it's like. It's very, very stressful, isn't it? Almost as stressful as those poor Haaland owners who have now got to wait 24 hours and then see if Salah doesn't obliterate their seasons, because high stakes this season, isn't it? High stakes. And I said a few weeks ago that people have been slow to recognise the big shift in the landscape. City are a shadow of their former selves. I think it's now 5 on the trot. They lost 4-1 in Europe. They've been smashed by everybody. But 4-0 at home to Tottenham, that is a new low, isn't it? Even Solanke outscored him. But anyway, peeps, what we're here to talk about today, we'll have a quick look. Okay, so I'm hard my ranks, 320k, 54 points, took a -4. I've only just come home and seen all this myself. And I thought I may as well turn on OBS and we'll go and have a look and see how a few content creators are doing, because we've all watched their shows this week and we heard about who they were going to bring in, etc. I know Mark was bringing in Digne and I think Az was going to keep Foden and all these sort of things. So we'll go and have a quick look at their teams and see how they're getting on this week. Anyway, I brought in Pedro and Gabriel for a hit. They both did well, so that's another hit that's paid off. That's my 3rd hit in a row now that has given me like double figure returns. Last week I brought in Cunha and Salah. Week before that I brought in Fernandez and someone else and he smashed it out the park for 2 weeks. So all these hits I'm taking are like massive green arrows. And now, when I look at my team for next week, we'll have a quick look at next week's team. Because you're probably all in the same boat. Most of you have got the same sort of players I've got. The whole front 8 are at home. The entire front 8. Which is just ridiculous. I've got to bench Johnson again now. I oohed and aahed this week over whether to bench Johnson or Pedro or Cunha. Luckily I chose the right one. But Johnson still got 6 points, didn't he, this week? I should have benched Mbeumo, but, there's no way of knowing at the end of the day. But look at next week. Palmer home to Villa. Mbeumo home to Leicester. Fernandez home to Everton. Salah home to City. It doesn't get much easier than that, does it? I mean, City must be terrified now. Solanke home to Fulham. Pedro home to Southampton and Cunha home to Bournemouth. I mean, who do you bench? I've got to bench Johnson, I think. It's a ridiculous situation to be in, but all these hits I've been taking have been keeping my team so current. I mean, I'm already on Pedro, whereas others are going to be scrambling to buy him. And if you haven't got Pedro, you get him because he's going to be multiple price rises. Brighton have got multiple fantastic fixtures, and if you haven't got Cunha, same again. It's what are you doing basically? Because I won't say essential, but the way they're playing is just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. So anyway, that's my team. I might have to take a defensive transfer, but I'll be back to talk about that later. So what we're going to do is have a look at a few other people's teams. So not that one. We don't want to look at Az's team just yet. Right, so this is the league I showed the other day that I cobbled together on Live FPL, where you can make a mini league with whoever you want. You can bring in players and put them in a little mini league. So I collected a few content creators and put them in this little mini league here. So this is how I want to gauge how I'm doing this week, because for all I know, all these people have still got half a dozen players left. I've only got Fernandez and Salah to go. So you can see I've got 54. Next best is Az. So he's doing pretty well. He's got 48. So we'll have a quick look at his team. So what have we got? Green ones are ones yet to play. Blue have already played. Grey's on the bench. So he's only got one left. He's only got Hall left. So he's got 48 points, but he's only got Hall left. He's captain Haaland. Well, perhaps he's not having such a great week after all. 48's not too bad. You know, he might get about 50. But he really needs Salah to blank tomorrow, doesn't he? So I'm comfortably beating him this week. Andy's next. Let's see what he's done. I think he's got triple Arsenal defence. And it, you know, he's got his triple Arsenal clean sheet there. He's got Fernandez and Salah to go, exactly the same as I have. So I've beaten him by 11 this week. That's it. I've beaten him by 11, so that's good. So he's got this triple Arsenal defence, but he's on the wrong strikers. He's still got Rayo and Solanke. I mean, Solanke's alright, isn't he? I mean, I've got him. Strand Larsen. See, he hasn't got such a good strike. He hasn't been taking hits, and his team's looking a bit ropier going forward. He's going to want Pedro. He'll probably do Strand Larsen to Pedro next week. If you've got Strand Larsen, that's probably what you're going to be doing, isn't it? Unless you want to go for, or you could take Raul out. So that's him. Let's see, I was on the same points as Joe. Now I've got ahead of him. He's got Trent to go. Or he's benched Flecken. He had enough of Flecken and benched him. Just when Flecken kept his first clean sheet of the season, didn't he? He played Johnson at least. Lewis for 0. See, Lewis has been a shocker, hasn't he? If you own Lewis, I think it's time to say goodbye, isn't it? Rodgers were a blank, but they've got good fixtures coming up. Here's another one with Wood. So he'll probably be getting rid of Wood and getting Pedro. It's hard to see people aren't going to get Pedro, I think. He hasn't got Cunha either. Oh, he has got Cunha. Yeah, Pedro's going to have to come in, I think, for people. I'll tell you what, there's going to be some massive price rises. Here's Fabio on 37, world's best. And he's not doing bad because he's got Salah captain to come, Fernandez. So he's got my two, plus he's got De Ligt and Hall. So he's probably going to end up around the same points as I've got. Again, he's another one. I think he's going to want Pedro. He benched Colwell. That turned out to be a inspired move, didn't it? Luckily for him. It's kind of a last minute again, wasn't it? Here's Wag. Took a -4. Got Rashford, Salah captain, Isaac and Delap. So she's doing all right. It's probably going to get over 50. Late riser, got 35. He's got Salah left. That's all he's got, and he hasn't captained him. So I've comfortably beaten him this week by well over 20 points, I'd say. Captain Haaland. He could have had a hat-trick, really, couldn't he? But we've been saying that for weeks now, haven't we? He hasn't got Cunha or Pedro, so he's going to have to get rid of them, isn't he? Is he going to keep Haaland? Don't know. It's looking a bit ropey, isn't it? It's starting to look ropey. Right, here's Mark. See who he got on off the bench for Digne this week. Right, let's see. Where's Digne? Oh, he hasn't got him. I thought he said on Black Box he was bringing Digne in, didn't he, last night? Naz was going on at him, telling him he'd regret it, and he hasn't even brought him in. Wonder why that was. You know, maybe he had a leak that Digne wasn't actually going to start. You know, because it's a bit. I don't know. Well, I wouldn't do this show and so I was buying someone and then like 10 minutes later change it to someone else. You know, well, no one listens to me anyway, but a lot of people probably bought Digne because Mark said he was buying him, and then he didn't actually buy him himself. So he's got Hall, Davis and Salah captain to go. So he's having a pretty... He took a -4, so 26. He's not having a great week here, is he? His bench is looking ropey. 0 on the bench. Yeah. I'm starting to think my team actually is looking quite good in comparison with some of these. Let's have a look at my old mate Pascal. He's got Salah to come, Hall and Isaac. Isaac could do quite a bit of damage. But some of these teams are coming from quite a long way back, aren't they? Like he's only got 22 if you take the hit out. Lewis is almost looking a problem now, isn't he, Lewis? He needs a rest, I think. Needs a rest. So that's about it. And this character here, better call Raul. Well, I think he better call an ambulance, to be honest, because he's got 18, took a hit, so he's only got 14, and he's only got Salah and Hall left. So I got a message on Blue Sky yesterday from this character, and he said the only team you need in that league is mine. So I've put him in here, you know, because he was flying high. I think he was in second place out of all the people on this league, but he's had a shocker this week. That'd teach him, wouldn't it? That'd teach him to want to be in the limelight, peeps. You know, he's on the show. Now he's going to start feeling the pressure of being in the spotlight. So you've had a disaster here. Jesus Christ. Look at it. This just shows how things can go wrong. I mean, like I said, he was second in this table. He's got all what you'd call, they're all top quality fantasy assets, aren't they? But he hasn't got a single attacking return from any of them. It can happen to any of us. It's happened to me twice this season. He's benched Pedro, which isn't terrible. I mean, I nearly benched Pedro myself. Away at Bournemouth, I wasn't expecting anything. So he's been blooming unlucky here. You know, like I said, it's happened to me twice this season, where I've had like 11 good fantasy assets and I've ended up with 23 points one week. So let's order people by their totals. That's the wrong way round. So Fabio's still on top. I'm only just behind him now, but he's going to pull away again a little bit overnight. Then there's Wag. Then Joe as... See this character here who's only got 18. He's still ahead of Andy. Still ahead of him. And a few others. Still ahead of Mark. And Late Riser, who's bottom. So if you're doing this well, if you're doing this about the same as these guys, you know, you're in good company at least, because there's quite a few low scores out there, aren't there? But there's also some bloody good scores. You know, people that have jumped on Pedro, people that have still got Saka, people who've got Jackson. You know, you're having a good week, aren't you? So, and people who've got... The guy I was playing golf with this morning, he actually played Pedro Porro. And I think he got like 15 points or something, didn't he? He actually played him. He had captain Haaland. But by the end of the game, he was like, please don't score, City, please don't score. Because he wanted his clean sheet from Pedro Porro. So anyway, that's about it, you know. So this Saturday, I'm thinking, we'll have a quick look at the price changes. I won't be doing anything this week early. It's time for me to take a step back from all these hits. I'm in a good place there now. So Cunha's probably going up. João Pedro's probably going up. Fernandes probably won't because he's rising, isn't quite slowly. But he could do. Isaac could do. Robinson could do. Højlund might. Which would be a bit of a weird one, wouldn't it? Mazraoui's getting close. Hall and Onana. I think there's Champions League this week, isn't there? So the cautious amongst you will not want to be taking early transfers. Haaland's getting very close to a drop. Whether he goes or not, I don't know. Grealish. Solanke. That's one of mine. I'm going to lose some money. Don't like losing money, peeps. Don't like it. But I'm not going to take out Solanke before Fulham. Although, you know, I mean, there is a case to be made, despite his assist, for taking him out for Isaac. But I mean, Fulham let in 4 goals this week. Tottenham scored 4 goals away at City, and now they've got Fulham at home. So, I mean, although Solanke's not tearing up trees, is he? But if Tottenham are scoring 3 or 4 goals every week, and most weeks, then he's going to be getting in a few points. Who have they got coming up? They've got Fulham at home, Bournemouth away, Chelsea at home. Chelsea's defence is shit. Then Southampton. So it might be well worth keeping Solanke for another 4 weeks. You know, you've got what's his face to worry about, you know, Jackson. Very tired, you know, very tired. I'm struggling to think. Yeah, Jackson and Isaac, basically, in that spot. So, I mean, it's worth considering. Like I said, I've got so many good players next week that I don't think you want to be taking out quality just to replace it with quality when there's no guarantee that the one you're bringing in is going to get more points. Obviously, Solanke is about to drop in price, so. But I think it would be... No, I don't fancy it. Something's telling me not to do it. I'm better off. If I have to make a transfer, look, I need to make one in defence. Because I've got to play Robinson away at Tottenham next week, which isn't ideal. So, that's about it, peeps. You know, I'll be back in a day or two and we'll have a look at what's going on. And for the moment, if you've got Salah captain, you don't have to worry too much. You know, if you've captained Haaland and you haven't got Salah and you're not doing well, then you probably do need to worry a bit, I think, because God knows what Salah's going to do to Southampton tomorrow. Maybe nothing, you never know. But anyway, I'm off now, so, you know, lace up. That's what you do. You're having a bad Saturday, lace up, get out the door. You know, I know there's snow and ice on the ground, and it's dark, and you can't see where you're putting your feet, but it's no excuse. Lace up, get out the door, and if you're not in A&E tomorrow, you know, you'll be in a much better place. You will have had a bit of exercise, and you'll be watching Salah and Fernandes smash it out of the park tomorrow. Anyway, peeps, I'm off now, so take care. and see you all later. Anyway, so cheers for now, and like and subscribe, and or else you'll be missing out on all these goat moves that I'm making week after week. Whatever the goat move is next week, I have no idea, but we'll try and find one.